Hello my friends, welcome to this week's video. This week we're going to be looking at the Genesis GV80 Prestige 3.5T with, of course, four-wheel drive. That's a 4, right? It's just missing a leg. This is the Genesis flagship SUV. Let's look at it from the side, shall we? I mean, it just looks smashing. It looks great. I drove the GV80 a couple of years ago in that horrible green color that Hyundai made all their press vehicles in. It looks not good. I didn't care for it. As far as I can tell, they haven't updated it, but there have to have been some changes because this thing looks fantastic. I'm not sure what they did, if anything, but anyway, it looks really good. This matte gray paint job thing is fabulous. It looks absolutely amazing. This is the face. This is kind of becoming the standard Genesis face. This particular version is enormous. Has to be. Got that big radiator in there. There's probably intercoolers and separate coolers for the turbos, etc. So you need lots of air coming through. You don't really see it until you get down low like this, which is cool. We get great looking headlights here. Again, sort of, standard Genesis design. We also get, in this particular trim, some really nice 22-inch rims. I love these. Genesis is doing really cool things with rims. The GV60 has a really funky looking set of rims, and these kind of borrow from that. These are nowhere near as chaotic, but you get this melty spiderweb thing in the narrow part of the spoke there, which is very cool. I dig that. I like that a lot. You get the Genesis branded calipers as well, which are bloody enormous. Look at those things. They're huge. Which means, of course, you could probably romp on this thing pretty good, and it'll still stop every time. Let's go to the back, shall we? I wanted to show you guys. So to get into the back of this thing, honestly, it took my 14-year-old to point out that it's a little button here on the rear windscreen wiper. It's clearly marked, but unless you're looking for it, not so much. So in the back, excuse the bag, you get plenty of space. It's quite a bit. It's obviously a 5-seater, etc. But you get lots and lots of space. You get a cargo cover, which they fitted on this particular one, which is cool. Lots of underneath here. You get. Let's open it up, shall we? You get some bits and pieces, some paraphernalia, and then there's a pump and goopy thing in there apparently for the instead of a spare, which is the trend these days. Very cool to see on a vehicle like this is powered second row. And do you hear it? No, you don't, because it's very quiet. But even more interestingly, it's power both ways, which is cool. So I'm not sure if you noticed though, where this seat is, this seat here, as it was going up and down, it wasn't touching it, but it was coming very close to the driver's seat, which is in my seating position. So if you're taller than me, which most people are, it might actually be a bit of an issue. So it might rub that seat, I'm not sure. But yeah, just be aware of that. But it's very cool that they're powered both ways. Very neat, because most of the time you don't get that. Speaking of the second row, let's go have a peek, shall we? Now, oh, you know what? I gotta turn the car on for this one. There's one of the most interesting parts of the second row I can't show you unless it's gonna turn on my podcast, isn't it? Yep. Hold on one second. Oh, yeah, it's off. Perfect. Okay. So, sorry about that. Okay, so what you get is, ta-da! Oh, very cool. Powered window shades. I like window shades. I always thought they were kind of stupid, and then I got a Sienna years and years ago, which had shades, and we used them all the time. My kids managed not to destroy them. They were manual, of course, because we're poor, but these, fantastic. I love that. It's very cool. Sort of speaks to the little limousine or, you know, real executive car stuff that they've added to bits and pieces that they've added to this vehicle. Hopping in the rear seat, you get more little cues, like a lovely coat hanger here. And what you also get are vanity mirrors in the back. Look at that. That's cool. I like that. I'm not going to flip that one down because it'll show you my face and nobody needs to see that. You get nice Alcantara headliner back here, as you do at the front, of course. But we haven't got there yet. You get a full panel, which I'll show you in a minute, but a sunroof back here, which is great. It makes it very light and airy. You get full environmental controls in the back, and they're, well, yeah, I mean, it's great, right? You get lots of power, etc. Heated and ventilated seats in the back. That's awesome. That's really great. You get a center console here with a cup holder, and you get a storage cubby. Look at that. For a phone. It's sort of funny. I don't know why this makes me chuckle that you get a lid inside this, but it's cool. It's a neat little design element, isn't it? You get obviously your nice Napa leather back here. It's absolutely lovely. It's beautiful back here. The back seat's usually kind of boring, to be honest, but it's not so bad in this car. It's great. Let's head outside, shall we? All right. Oh, getting old, my friends. Getting old. Okay. Yes. Key is in my pocket. I know. Thank you. All right. So, hopping inside, we get, oh, here we go. Steering wheel the right way. Okay. So we get a full digital dash cluster, speedo on the left, tachometer on the right. I would actually prefer them to be flipped. You can't do that, can you? I couldn't figure it out anyway. But you can scroll through various options in the middle here. Otherwise, it stays fairly fixed. So, yeah. That's it, really. But it's beautiful, high res, very glossy, as you can probably see the reflection of the GoPro in there if you look close. Very cool, actually. It's quite nice. What has become a ubiquitous Genesis steering wheel. Little, these scrolly things for the toggles. It's okay. Not great. I'm not totally thrilled with it, but they work, which is important. You get a 12.3, 12.4 inch infotainment screen, which is really good. Hold on. Come on. That's not going to do it, is it? Okay, there you go. My bad. So it's super high res, etc. Every bit of functionality you can imagine. It's yeah, I mean, it's typical, right? You know, Genesis and Hyundai are killing this stuff right now, and I don't think, yeah, there are a few doing it better. Really great. So I love the infotainment system. The only downside is CarPlay and Android Auto are plug-in only still, just like the G90. Which is weird. I don't understand that. That being said, the native system is great, and you don't really need those. I haven't used them anyway, so it works for me. Down here, look at the HVAC controls. Oh, you got dials, you got buttons, you got a little like a haptic feedback screen here, which actually, it works fine, no problem. All the piano black will get scratched, which sucks. It should just be matte. I don't know why they do that. But it is like buttons and stuff, right? The things we like. None of this screen nonsense, which is cool. Down here, you got your wireless charging pad, charging ports. I thought that this was awkward when you first start. Here, I'll grab my phone. You know, when you start putting it in there like that. But believe it or not, you get used to it. And it's actually not bad. It's actually quite easy to grab the phone, right? You just, you know, in and out. So, yeah, it's great. I like it a lot. Cup holders behind the wooden trim there. Nice cup holder, standard stuff. This is your infotainment control system. This is your shifter. And then you have your drive mode, terrain select, other bits and pieces here. So you turn it to sport, and of course it changes the dash cluster. And it also squeezes your kidneys with the bolsters, which is kind of cool, actually. And you can also do drive terrain, so if you're in snow, mud, sand, etc. But we'll leave it in comfort for the time being. Maybe I'll put it in sport when I go driving. And then we have a sunroof, which is huge. It's like sort of a two-pane. It's not really fully panoramic, is it? But it splits. Look at it. It's cool. And both sides fold into this middle bar, which I guess is why it's there. Oh, now it's opening the sunroof. Stop it. Okay, it's probably going to close everything, isn't it? I don't know how to use these things. There you go. But that's the sunroof, so we get a display, which is very cool. Like I said, gives you lots of light, etc. Very, very nice Napa leather. Hyundai does, you know, really great leather. It's just fantastic, super soft. I don't like the quilting. I just don't. But that's a me thing, and that's okay. No big deal. It's not a deal breaker for me. I guess we should take this beauty for a drive, shall we? Why does it feel like I'm too far back? There we go. Short legs, my friends. Short legs. Okay, well, let's do this. So, should we put it in sport? Yeah, let's do it. Let's put it in sport. Perfect. Oh, there come those bolsters. All right, so the 2023 Genesis GV80. Oh, what kind of engines can you get? Well, you can have two. You can have the starter level. The first 2 or 3 trims is a 2.5 liter turbo. It gives you about 300 horsepower, a little bit more on the torque side. This Prestige trim will give you 375 horsepower and just under 400 torques. So if you're looking to rip your face off, this is probably the trim level to go for. Now, of course, it comes at a price point, doesn't it? One of the best things about Genesis cars is they have reasonable starting prices. Now, yes, you lose some of the equipment, etc., but for the most part, the cars are actually well equipped, even at base model pricing. I don't think you get those fancy window shades, which would break my heart at the starter level, but other than that, I mean, you do still get lots of great equipment, and the 300 horsepower for daily drive, it's more than it's way far as totally sufficient for regular everyday driving. And this one, I mean, this one's a bit of a chameleon, because as soon as you put it into sport, it kind of, it snarls a little bit and it gets angry. Here, let's go this way. I always forget about this stop sign. One of these days I'm going to get a ticket. But today, I remembered it. So with 375 horsepower, I mean, it's, here, let's do a dead stop, shall we? So from a dead stop, where's the speedo? Just so you guys can keep an eye on it. Okay, are we ready? And 1, 2, 3. There we go. So that was about 100, right? Give or take, or 0 to 60 miles if you're from a country that recognizes the imperial system. So yeah, I mean, it's good. It was sluggish on the start, even in sport mode. But then it really sort of, everything spooled up and it took off, and it was quite good. Pushes you into the seat. It's fun. It's nice. I have found that if you can see it on the bottom here, I drive it mostly in comfort mode because that's what I prefer, because I'm old and fat. But I have found that this 3.5 liter turbo setup is a little thirsty. I can't remember what it's rated at. I apologize. I meant to look that up. Maybe I'll put it on the screen here, like with the factory numbers. But in real world driving, and this has been mostly city, I've not been on the highway really this week, so keep that in mind. But it's ticking right around 17.8 to 18 liters per 100K, which is a lot. It's a little thirsty. That being said, it's a really good driving experience. You're going to pay for it, but it's great. The engine's fantastic. I've enjoyed my week with it. That's for sure. Look at the RVs piling up on these streets. Nobody can afford to live here anymore, so just live on the road. Sorry, folks. Moving on. Yeah, so price point, where does it start? Well, if I remember correctly, it starts in the high 50s for base model, and this Prestige trim, which is one step below, it's missing one package to be a fully top of the line model, it's right around $90,000 Canadian. So it's quite a stretch, isn't it? That's the interesting thing about Genesis cars. You can get in for a reasonable dollar point. You won't be disappointed either. They're not strippers at the base models. They're just not. But you can spend as much as you like, really. So it's sort of interesting, and I ran out of thoughts there for a second, sorry. But spend as much as you like. Whatever trim level you choose, that's up to you, and you won't be disappointed. I can assure you of that. This is a 5-seater luxury SUV, which means that it has a lot of competitors. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. It's one of the busiest segments. I mean, the non-luxury segment is probably the busiest and most crowded segment in the automotive industry. There are so many choices from every luxury brand you can imagine. They all make one like this. They make multiple types, stripes, pay every price you like. It's just, you need to do a lot of legwork if you're thinking about buying one of these things, or just buy the GV80. 95% of us won't be disappointed, that's for sure. So that's entirely up to you. Just know that there's lots of competition, and for similar dollars, you can get, you have a lot of choice. So you've been told. I will say, one of the things I try and do, I work at a place in my day job where we employ about 15 people, roughly speaking, 15, 20 people. And, I sort of use their response to my weekly drive as a barometer of the car's appeal. You know what I mean? And this car has been deeply popular over the last week or so. You know, not only do people think it's good looking, but they love the paint job. You know, these matte paint jobs are, I don't know, I always thought they were kind of stupid, but they really do look good. And on this particular car, that particular color that they've chosen, whatever it's called, is, yeah, it's a winner because people love it. I've had almost everybody I work with say, ooh, that's pretty. I like that. And you can't really argue with that. You know, it's like when I had the RDX, right? People didn't comment on the color, but they commented on how beautiful a car is. You know, I said, ooh, that's a good looking car. You know, and that's what you want, right? You want people to have an instinctual, emotional reaction to the vehicle. That's hard to do. You can't, well, I mean, you can obviously manufacture it, but you can't fake that. Let's go this way instead. Go back that way. So yeah, I don't know. This car is great. I've really enjoyed it. Genesis sells quite a few of these for Genesis. I mean, they don't, you know, it's a luxury brand, so their volume is, you know, it's not Honda, right? And they sell plenty of them. You know, it's been quite, I believe it's been quite successful. I haven't heard of any major issues, you know, with things like recalls, etc. So yeah, I mean, it's right in there in the mix, fighting it out. And I love that. I think that's great. You know, the more choice we have as consumers, the better it is. And this is a good one, man. They're doing good things at Genesis. Hyundai is, I don't know. They're leaving a lot of people in the dust, I'll tell you that. So yeah, if you're in the market for a 5-seater luxury branded SUV, try the GV80. I don't think you'll be disappointed. And I guess that'll do it for this video. If you have a minute, take a beat, offer up a subscription if you don't mind. I just mean hit the subscribe button. Give it a like, give it a comment, tell me what you think. Most of the time people don't say much about the videos, which I take to mean, of course, that they're damn near perfect. But I suspect that that's not the case. So tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Have a great day.